Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. You know what? Let's do that again. Let's give you guys another. Hey everybody, Economic Ninja. I hope you're doing great. And if you bought gold, you are doing great. Why? People are going, what the spot price is doing some weird things, Ninja. It's going up, it's going down. But what really matters is what's going on in the physical market. Why? Because the premiums are exploding. Delays are starting to happen, right? It's proof positive that there are people intervening in their own finances and going, I've got to take control of this. I'm buying gold, right? But it's not just you guys, the central banks. Check this out. Look at this right here. Central banks globally added to their net gold holdings for the 5th consecutive month in August, according to the latest data released by the World Gold Council. This is huge. It says on net, central banks added 20 more tons of gold to their reserves. 3 banks drove buying in August, and there were no notable sellers. Right now, central banks for the last 5 months have been piling into the gold market buying physical gold. And it's crazy to me because I talk about this all the time. Less than 1% of the human population owns any physical gold or silver, right? Isn't that absolutely bonkers? But the central banks, and to say that they're in the know, that they know what's coming, they know what's going on, they are buying gold. Here, a little bit more. It says so far this year, central banks have added over 300 tons of gold to their holdings. Turkey, that's funny, they misworded it, and they said 300 tons of gold to their goldings. That's a little fun slip. It says Turkey was the biggest buyer in August and has added more gold than any other country in 2022. Well, doesn't that just sort of make sense? Wouldn't you say that Turkey is in the business of being a professional when it comes to devaluing their currency and understanding how fast and how quick that can happen? Yes, that is true. Turkey is in a financial wreck. They are a financial basket case, yet ironically, they're buying gold. Why? The central bank knows what's going on with their currency. And very soon, you're going to see more and more countries doing the exact same thing. Now, like this story says, there are central banks all around the world right now diving into the gold market, buying physical gold. What happens when that physical gold isn't available? And you say, what do you mean, Ninja? Well, there's a point where all these central banks are buying up literally all the gold, and then they don't want to sell it to each other. And then what happens to the physical premiums on those coins that you try and buy from the mints? If the mint can even make it at all. We've seen before in the silver market where the Silver Eagle program had to get shut down 2 months prior to the end of the year because they said, hey, they gave us an excuse of retooling. But at one point, they actually said, we're having a hard time sourcing the metal. We just don't have enough to stay up with demand. And that is evident because you see the silver market going through ebbs and flows where the premiums explode because they simply can't get enough metal to supply demand. We know that is the case. Well, let's talk about gold. The reason why gold is so important is because central banks around the world and governments are printing money recklessly. There is literally crisis everywhere, all right? So there are people buying it. Well, I want to know how to make the most amount of money. I've talked about this before. Obviously, you use leverage in the gold mining stocks. The problem is there's a lot of risk. Why? Because gold stocks are so leveraged to the gold price. When gold goes up, those stocks can skyrocket. I gotta throw these sunglasses on, it's too bright out here. When gold dips down because of a liquidity event, then those mining stocks can come crashing down. To me, that makes opportunity. Why? Because the gold mining companies haven't done anything different. They're still doing business as usual. They're drilling holes, they're digging up earth, they're separating those metals and selling it. And yeah, over the long term, sometimes there's risk, but right now, to be honest with you, I think we're getting close to a bottom in gold because as central banks continue to lose control of their currency due to inflation, they have to print money to give it out to people that are hurting severely with their high electricity bills, food bills, and so on. That's going to create more of a demand for gold because the price is going to continue to grow against the devaluation of the currency, all right? So I am positioned in gold mining stocks, silver mining stocks, things like that, because I'm getting ready for a bottom. Do I believe we hit the bottom yet? Not necessarily, because there could be some wacky things. You know, as a heartbeat stops, right? A heart dies. It actually goes into something called ventriculation. Oh, if I could even pronounce that word right. But it starts to flutter. And that's what happens in economies as they hit a top and hit a bottom because people just don't know which way to go. It doesn't seem normal. Well, I believe that's where gold is right now. It is just fluctuating back and forth, and it's trying to find that bottom. So I want to give you an example of today, and we're going to go by the sponsor of today's video, which is Gold Mining Inc. Gold Mining Inc. is a publicly traded company, but what I really like about it, one of the things I like about it, is it's traded on the NYSE. So let me grab my notes and let's just jump right into this. Got a lot of notes. So, and you know, I think it's really important to let you know it's on the back of this def box, because the economy, the world's economies are trying to find all these different ways of going green. The economy's in trying to figure all this stuff. And, you know, do I really like this stuff? No, not at all. But it's crazy how easy prices can rise when a supply gets short. And that's diving back into gold and Gold Mining Inc. This is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. So I'm always looking for a proven track record when it comes to the team, right? Amir Anani started this company, and he started picking up assets for this company when they were rock bottom prices back up the last time gold had its run, and then started to dip down when the Federal Reserve changed its monetary policy and started raising interest rates. The dollar started getting strong, gold and silver sold off. Amir Anani saw a opportunity, started picking up assets for pennies on the dollar, right? And he bought assets all over North America and South America. But what I like about it is Amir Anani started multiple companies, uranium companies that are up hundreds of %, right? So he knows what it's like to put together a team, put together a company that's successful. And so I like that, right? A leader that knows what it's like to win. So once you get that feeling in your blood, you know how to do it over and over. You just keep replicating it, right? So I like also, like I said, it's traded on the NYSE. So it's open to all types of investors, right? Everyone from, you know, large brokerage accounts like mine up at Haywood, all the way down to somebody running an app on their phone like Robinhood, let's say, right? I don't condone Robinhood, but you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there with trading apps right now that just is an app on your phone, and they're not open to every single stock out there, right? But they are open to stocks on the trading on the NYSE, NASDAQ, things like that. So I like that. Also, I like who's involved in this company. People like very well-known people like Doug Casey, Rick Rule, and also funds like BlackRock are invested in this company. Okay, so I like that. Another couple of companies that come to mind are KCR Fund, the GDXJ Van Eck ETF, and Extract Capital, along with Sprott Global and Marin Katusa. Wait, there's also Oppenheimer Holdings actually owns this too. So those are big funds, big names in the industry that own this stock. So that's another thing that I really like. Again, going with the track record of other individuals that are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. These people have put their money in this company. So I like that as well. Now, a couple things about the actual company and their holdings. So they've got holdings all the way up from Whistler. I got to go really high on this one. Whistler, Alaska, all the way down to Boa Vista in South America. That also includes properties in Canada and the US, and their commodities are between gold, silver, and copper. And I like that, right? Not only two monetary metals that could show a shift in the upcoming collapse of fiat currencies around the world, right? As we transition to a digital dollar, but also copper, right? Copper is so vital right now to building all these electric vehicles that everybody seems to want like crazy. All of the wind turbines and all of this stuff, it is so vital. Copper is so needed. And ironically now, Dr. Copper, the term that's been used forever showing the health of an economy, you know, depending on what copper's done, is completely shifting right now. And the reason why is because geopolitical threats are proving right now with what happened with Russia and Ukraine that governments can shut you off, you know, and not allow you, you know, where we're going to sanction you, we're not going to allow you to ship out your goods. Or, you know, hey, if you're used to doing business with this country over there, but we're not, and you need to be aligned with us, you can't do business over there. So what if you need vital things like copper and you get shut off from buying your copper there and you're forced to pay a higher price? So the copper market, I think, is totally changing, and the whole term Dr. Copper is absolutely changing right now. So right now, Gold Mining Inc., I said they've picked up a bunch of different resources over the years, picking them up for on the cheap. Currently, they're showing about 16 million ounces of resources with 16.2 million ounces of inferred resources. And so it's a big spread of resources spread across Central, North, and South America through all of these different deposits. Another thing is they own 15% of a company called Gold Royalty Corp. And that company right now had a successful IPO raising of $113 million Canadian, and that was based on the strength of their assets. So they owned that company. So a diversified portfolio as well, not only between the projects, but also they own 15% of another publicly traded company. So that's pretty nice too. Obviously, like I said, the company's primed for growth, and the reason why, let's set this down, is because to say that we're at a bottom with precious metals is an understatement. However, we're still looking for that bottom, right? As Lehman Brothers crashed in 2008, gold and silver didn't find their bottom for about 8 weeks until the panic. And when did that set in? It was when central banks started printing money. Now, ironically, we're in a totally different spot now. Central banks started printing money like crazy around the world when the world shut down in 2020. As a matter of fact, our monetary base has pretty much essentially doubled since the year 2020, and we've seen that reflected in the gold price. Gold price has moved up very nicely since January of 2020. Even though it's off of its highs, it was sitting around, what, around $2,000 in January, and now it's sitting at like in the 1600s. Maybe it's even higher as of the post. I think we're in the 1700s. Point being is that it moved up quite significantly when all that money started getting printed, but it still hasn't fully revalued itself based on all of the money being printed around the world. And I think that's very, very important, okay? I think people need to realize the day we're in and what's going on right now. So guys, I wanted to show you that. I'm gonna put a link to the company's website if you wanna check it out. And the ticker, again, it's traded on the, oh, let me grab this real quick. Just so you guys know, the ticker is, I know I'm gonna have it up, but I'll just let you know. GLDG on the NYSE. And if you're trading in Canada on the TSX, it's actually the ticker's gold. Man, that is that is a golden ticker, literally. But I guess it would take someone like Amir Anani to make that happen. All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.